War has changed versus war never changes. You either go with the flow, or you take the initiative to make a difference. I have no idea where I was going with that, but look at this game. This War of Mine is a war survival game developed by 11-bit studios. It's intended to show a different perspective on modern warfare, the one that civilians caught in the middle have to go through. I don't think I've ever played a game like this before, so let's take a look at this. Gathering resources is the entire game for the most part. The goal is to survive until the war ends, and you need as many resources as possible to keep everyone alive. During the nighttime, you have one person travel to a location to find materials, food, water, weapons, anything they can get their hands on. You can come across other people who may or may not be hostile. You just never know, but if they don't show any aggression towards you, you should be able to scavenge freely, and they may be open to trading with you. But if they're hostile, you have to use stealth and sneak around them if you can't take them head on, and that's the case most of the time. During the daytime, anyone on the streets can be easily gunned down, so the only safe place to be in is your hideout. This is where you build stuff and take care of everyone's needs like food and sleep. Sometimes you'll have someone showing up to the door like a trader or someone asking for help. Since you're in a war zone, boosting morale is very important to keep everyone going. And that means you even have to deal with some depressing things like depression. Have the survivors talk it out with each other to deal with it, but that also ties up two people from doing anything productive that day. The combat is very simplistic. You have 100% accuracy all the time, so your main concerns with combat are your weapons, positioning, and how much ammo you take with you. The more stuff you bring to a fight, the less stuff you can carry back to base. But that's the thing, you're not supposed to fight. You're not soldiers, so you want to avoid conflict as much as possible, but you have to do what you have to do to survive. My only complaint with the game is the lack of content. This is supposed to be a highly replayable game, and this is supposed to have many different things generated every time. While different events are generated in each location, the locations themselves are static and they have the same layout. Without procedurally generating the layouts, this needs at least 5 times the number of locations, or at least 5 times the number of versions for the same location. Otherwise, you just end up memorizing everything in your first or second playthrough, and you just go directly to the best locations for the best stuff like I have. I never felt compelled to raid the old couple's house, for example. Sure, I can get some easy food and supplies there, but it's morally wrong, and this makes the people in my group sad. So I just don't bother with it. Otherwise, I think the game does a really good job at illustrating events that happen to civilians in a real war zone. Obviously, they don't show the more horrific things that happen, and some things had to be tweaked to make the gameplay balanced and fun because it's a game and you're supposed to enjoy it. I don't think I've ever experienced a game like this, so I'm really glad I played it. And now for the analysis. For the first few weeks, you'll see lots and lots of Let's Plays. The game sort of had a quiet release, but the developer put in some effort to build some goodwill within the gaming community, like giving away keys for the game on the Pirate Bay, and this led to people talking about it and promoting it. Outside of the lack of content, the biggest complaints about the game I've been hearing about are the bugs. They seem minor and I haven't noticed them myself, but it looks like the developer's on top of that. After a few months, I think the game will be dead for the most part. It's a single-player game, and although it's supposed to be a replayable one, there's very little content to speak of. Perhaps they'll release an expansion to increase the amount of content significantly, but by then, the amount of exposure they have at the moment will be long gone. I don't see any modding support for the game either, so forget about that. I think this War of Mine will be remembered for its gameplay and its portrayal of how warfare affects the people caught in the crossfire, not for its longevity in the market. I really like the concept in general. You're sneaking around the place to stay alive, you're helping others whenever you can, or if you have the team to do so, you can just become bandits and kill everyone to survive. But there's definitely room for improvement, and when you're talking about a $20 price tag for the game, I would expect a little more content. I'd say wait for the sale if you're not too hyped about the game, but we'll see what happens in a few months. Thanks for watching!